just 2 and a bit minutes, I think, ahead of when we start our very, very first B1G1 CONNECT PLUS. Paul Dunn, welcoming you all the way from Singapore, wherever it is you are this morning. Hope your day so far has been great, and I hope that we can add to it. Here's something that makes my day great. I get to see this pretty much every day. Have a listen to this.
Our giving through B1G1 is attached to different products and services. So, for example, with every book sale, we fund a stationery kit for a student.
When we take on a new client, we're hoping to change their business for the better. For our smaller clients, we give a goat, and that's creating a sustainable income for a family. And if it's a bigger business or it's a bigger project, then we give the gift of sight. So we give a cataract operation in India.
Every time a person gets a hair braid, 30 children in Africa get clean water. And so far we've helped over 100,000 children in Africa.
And it's so exciting to be able to tell our clients that, because of working with me, they've, funded a teacher's wages for a week.
When we give them a gratitude certificate or tell them that their purchase has meant that someone else gets education, it just opens up so many doors.
When I was, passing people the registration bench, during a conference, and I said, thank you for being here today. Actually, as a result of you attending, we're sending a child from Cambodia to go to school for 1 year. And this guy said, this is one of the most beautiful things I heard in the last year.
If a customer knows that every time they come and visit Miss Fox, they're helping to change the lives of someone else, I think that is quite awesome.
It was exactly the heart that our business needed. We knew it was there, and B1G1 gave us a way to make that true.
So with B1G1, the giving that we give on a regular basis is very highly leveraged.
If everyone's doing a little something and there's thousands of businesses all giving a cent here or there, that really builds up to something quite spectacular.
When you know that you are connecting to something so much bigger than yourself, it gives you the joy of waking up in the morning and you just cope with anything that happens. So signing up, well, it's the best thing that I ever did for business. And I'd certainly encourage everybody to give their heart to business.
We love it.
I love that where they say we love it right at the end. It's great, isn't it? And it's great to be seeing you. Thank you so much. This is Paul Dunn right here in Singapore, welcoming you to our very, very first Connect Plus right around Australia. I think most everybody today is from Australia, but wherever you are, I am just so thrilled to be doing this. By the way, if I look occasionally over that way, it's not because I'm being rude or whatever, it's because I'm trying to get a picture of what you're seeing, just to make sure that everything is go, go, go. And so in terms of everything being go, 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 let me do this. Let me just get back into my Zoom window. Oh, we can see Masami is joining us there as well. Thank you, Masami. Hi. If you say hi, and well, actually, no, I can see all of those people, but you probably can't, because you can only see whoever it is that is speaking. But we're going to get to some fascinating people in just a little minute. But ahead of that, I thought that what we should do is let you know what it is that we are going to be doing. So let's do this. This is going to be fast-paced this morning, so let's get on and see what we're going to be doing. And just to remind you, you're going to get me for a little while, maybe for about 8 minutes, where we talk about the huge power of small. And by the way, for that, it's very important, I suspect, to have your notepads and your pencils ready for that. Once we've done that, we're going to get into partner point. And you can't see this, but behind the scenes now, there are 5 or 6 of our partners in Australia who are waiting to join you, because we're giving them, would you believe, 75 seconds to let you know about some things that they're doing. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Then, talking of interesting, Masami is going to update us. She's here in Singapore this morning with some of the new B1G1 systems updates. And then, we're still staying with Masami, we have at the end of our time together, which means don't you dare leave. We have a lovely, lovely surprise coming up for you as well. So lots of things. So let's, first of all, with your notepads open, let's get into the huge power of small. And people who joined me in Sydney a little while ago I think it was a couple of weeks ago, will have seen some of this. This is about the huge power of small when we are talking pricing. And I want you to think about a situation, and let's imagine you're selling whatever it is you're selling, and let's imagine that the price of that thing that you're selling is $1,038. By the way, just in terms of the power of small, there's lots of interesting studies now which talk about how people perceive numbers. It's very interesting. If you actually put 1038.00 on there, people will actually see that as a bigger number. Equally, if you put a comma between the 1 and the 0, people will see it as a bigger number. And interestingly, if you put the dollars in there as well, people will think it's a bigger number than it is. Now, don't ask me why that is. We're indebted to Bree Williams for some of that information. So thank you, Bree. So let's imagine that someone comes up to you in the middle of it or in a conversation here. And so someone during a conversation, it says, well, this looks interesting, what's the price? And suppose you just say it's 1,038. Then, you know, it's kind of hard to imagine, isn't it, where the conversation is going to go. It's like, oh, thank you. And even worse, if you were to do this on the phone, you know, where someone's calling you and they say, look, I saw your ad, what's the price of that? And you say, it's 1,038. Many times they're going to say, thank you for the information. I'll think about that. So there has to be a better way of handling that, doesn't there? Well, and not surprisingly, it is through the power of small. In this particular case, in our example, in this Connect Plus, it has to do with the words that you use. So here are the words. Please do take a note of them. And that is, and that includes a number of special things. So let's go back to that conversation again. So someone's saying, so what's the price? And you're saying, well, it's 1,038, and that includes a number of special things. The likelihood is, of course, that the person now who hears that is going to say, oh, really, what are those special things? Now, if that doesn't happen, then, and you might just pause, it's 1,038, and that includes a number of very special things. If that doesn't happen, then obviously you can trigger that by, well, that's what they might say, or really, what are they? Or if they just say nothing, then you can trigger it by saying, could I just explain what they are? Now, for some strange reason, the words on the slide over there have kind of gotten jumbled up, but usually what would happen is at that point, they would say, sure. So you've gone now from focusing on the price to focusing on what are those special things. Now, clearly you need to have, in fact, you do have lots of special things. We were just working with someone in Wodonga where they had this big furniture shop. And one of the things they sold was beds. And someone would say, what's the price of that bed? And they would say, well, it's $2,000, which, by the way, is not a good price. Much better to have not a round number. And I said, well, does this come with anything? This was like in the mentoring. And they said, oh, yeah, well, we actually install it. And what we mean by that is we don't just dump it. We actually put the bed together in place and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, they started to think of all of the special things that make dealing with you so much better. So that's why this is a very important power of small idea. There we go. Sure, go ahead is what they might say at that point. But let me kind of round out just ahead of getting to our partner point. Another way of thinking about that. Let's look at, for example, quotations where you've been talking with someone and they say, oh, well, could you just send me an email on that or just to confirm it? Now, typically what we might do is blah, 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 the sorts of standard things that we do. And then right down the bottom of that, we might say, and once again, our price is, you see, and there I've actually made it sound bigger. You see why? Because I've put the 00 and I've put the dollar and I've put the comma in there. But what's actually happening, if you think about it, if that is the last thing that's going on, then what that is, and people will remember the last thing they hear. So, well, oh, thank you. People are saying this is very useful. Yeah, if you're finding this useful, do put it up on the Q&A as well. I'd love to hear from you. So what's another way of thinking about that? Well, suppose we did our quotations like this. Suppose we remembered that that includes a number of special things, and the quote is going to look like this. You're going to say, thank you for the opportunity to say this, blah, 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 blah. Based on what you've told me, your investment in this is going to be 1,038, and that includes a number of special things. And you might even bullet point these things, thing one, benefit one, and so on. You can see the idea. And so now what's happening is people are focusing on the benefit of dealing with you, not on the price. Now you might say, well, do you have some practical examples of this just before we get to our partner point? And the reality is, yes, we do. Lots of them, in fact. One that we're going to be talking, or a person we're going to be talking with later today, his name is Joe, and he's from the United Kingdom. What he's found, by the way, so what this says is, don't do the thing on the left, do the thing on the right. And what he's found is a 100% increase in the number of people who are now accepting his quotations for garden design work. And what's also very interesting, take a look at this, and he's also done that with a 40% increase in the prices that he has been quoting. So that says to me that this is a very, very good. Oh, and Kerry is saying perfect timing. She's got a quote to go out today. Thank you, Kerry. And she's listing the very special things right now. Awesome, awesome. And I'm sure other people are saying pretty much similar things as well. So that's our huge power of small for the day. There we go. And so have a guess where that leads us to. Well, you're right. That leads us to partner point. And so what I'm going to do in no particular order is I am going to stop the share and, excuse me, and I'm going to call in one of our partners. I'm going to pick the person who looks most likely. And Paul Lange down there in Sydney, you have got, you are very definitely looking like person most likely. So ladies and gentlemen, he has 75 seconds. So let's give, I'm not sure what we would do. We might put on the Q&A, go for it, Paul, or something like that, just to give Paul some encouragement. Go for it.
Thanks, Paul. Well, everyone on this call will most likely have heard you talk about moments of connection. And as people here know, a moment of connection happens every time business is helped or receives value, and as a direct result out of the gratitude in that business, someone in need is helped. Well, as you know, Paul, some of my business partners and I have taken this to heart, not only as a business for good and through our giving on B1G1, but also through a new giving initiative that we're launching called 525,600 Moments of Connection. It's 525,000 because that's the number of minutes in a year. So a moment of connection is for every minute in the year. And we have space for 25 businesses who'd like to contribute to helping us achieve this. It won't cost you anything, apart from maybe a small investment of your time, about 15 minutes all up. And in return, apart from our immense gratitude, of course, your contribution will be recognized through our contribution back to your business, through exposures to people who follow us and other people in our network, and through a giving activity directly linked to your contribution. So if you'd like to know more, please just email me at 525,600 at paullange.com.au. Thanks very much.
Oh, Paul, wow, that was just awesome. Now, those of us who can actually see Paul, that is to say the panelists, this is what I'm going to do, Paul. And they are all joining me. Look at that, people clapping around the world. Paul, let me just give you a couple of extra seconds to slowly, and we will put this on the recording, by the way, but to slowly make sure that everybody has got a note, because I reckon that most everybody's going to do that. Oh, look, Kerry Howard is saying, please give me that email again. So come on, Paul, put up the email. Here we go. The email is?
The email is 525,600, so the number 525,600 at Paul Lange.
Now, 525,600 with no commas.
Yep. No commas. At Paul Lange, PAULLANGE.com.au.
paullange.com.au. Very, very, very good. Wow, that was awesome. And what I might do as well, Paul, later on, I'll put that up on the Q&A. 525,600 at paullange.com.au. Very, very good. I tell you what, Paul, that really was awesome. Really was. That was history in the making right there. And history in the making has also been made by the person who's going to go now, because she is the person who introduced us to Zoom, and she's sitting right up in my top left corner. And so everybody, please welcome for Sarah, need to reset my little timer for you.
Well, last year, apparently, I scared Paul because I led a meditation in a B1G1 webinar. There, you can see him there. So today, I want to go a step further and talk about superpowers. Are you aware that you have a superpower? In fact, you've had it all your life, but you probably never used it properly, and you might not even realize that you have one. So a superpower is a special ability, and this is actually not a marketing trick. I spent 22 years of my life training with Chinese masters. This is my very first master, and China is the home of superpowers. So if you know how to use your superpower, it actually gives you an amazing edge in your life, and of course also in your business. And probably much more important is that it actually makes you feel incredible. So there are several B1G1 members who I've worked with over the last, I think, about 8 months to develop their superpowers with some very fascinating results. And I'm going to be talking about them in a B1G1 webinar on Wednesday. But now I'm offering the first ever, I think, superpower training for business owners. Oh. And if you're intrigued by that, just give me an email and let's get together on Skype and we will talk about it. And my button should be showing my email address, which it's not wanting to do.
Okay, but Sarah, don't concern yourself. We will get that up. In fact, we will. You just stop your share for a second. Can you stop your share for a second? Well, all of the professional people, and Sarah, I actually did give you 10 seconds extra, and the reason I gave you 10 seconds extra was because of that photograph of me in the meditation. I mean, I thought that was just the most amazing thing. And what did you call that? The first ever superheroes, no, superpowers. What was it? Do you mean?
Superpower training for business owners.
That is awesome. And Sarah, which email should they use should people use to get to you?
Sarah with an H at heartofhealing.co. heartofhealing.co.
And I can see all of our panelists writing there. So Sarah, we will put that up on the chat as well. Oh, look, he's looking. So you're looking at he. So that has to be a he down there in Melbourne. So zipping across Melbourne, Phil, just before we get to you, I just want to say thank you for all of the amazing things you do in B1G1. That's true for everybody on this call as well. So Phil Owens, welcome. Great to have you here, and I think we're going to learn how to play a bigger game. So Phil, your 75 seconds starts right now.
Thanks, Paul. So the bigger game is actually, for me, it's about helping people create sustained high performance in leadership. Because no matter what we do in our lives, whether it's personal leadership, team leadership, or organizational leadership, we all have a bigger game to play. So it's about the fact that if we play small, it doesn't serve anyone. But if we all unleash our potential and actually go to our capacity and all play a bigger game, we actually inspire others around us to play a much bigger game. So what I do is non-random acts of kindness. So I help you play your bigger game in your business through coaching, facilitating, training, and consulting. And that is my bigger game. That just makes me come alive. And so this helps me then help others play their bigger games through non-random acts of kindness through B1G1. And what I do is a revenue share. So every month I check my numbers and a revenue share goes straight out to B1G1 projects. And there's also event triggers. And I know, Paul, you love my virtual swear jar. Every time I swear at my computer, money goes to great projects through B1G1. So the question I have for everybody on the webinar today is, what is your bigger game? Because when you can play at your next level and you can stay there, when I help you get to that and you can have sustained high performance, then what's that going to unlock for you? And what I'd like to offer today is a special around 100. So if you're a member of B1G1 and you contact me, then what I'll do is straight away $100 will go to your favorite project. And if we start working together, another 100 will follow. And if you refer any of your clients or people that you know that need to play a bigger game, I'll do exactly the same thing. And this is in addition to the normal giving that I do. So I welcome you just to contact me, Philip Owens, at The Bigger Game. So that would be phil@thebiggergame.com.au, and let me help you create sustained high performance in leadership in every part of your business and life.
Oh, fantastic, Phil, fantastic. And you, if you can unclick your screen share, Phil, that's awesome. So that's phil@thebiggergame.com. And Phil, you're creating .au, yes, biggergame.co.au. And Phil, you're creating history as well. Let me tell you why. You are the first person that we can find. So we're actually finding you an amount to be determined for going over time. But anyway, that's okay. We'll Now, so Phil, thank you. That was just awesome. And this one is kind of interesting as well, because we're not going to do, she's not going to do a share screen, but Judy is there Judy, where are you this morning? Where are you? Oops, you're going to turn her microphone on, I hope. Where are you, Judy?
There you go. Unmuted. I'm in Mount Martha, down south of Melbourne, on the Mornington Peninsula.
Yeah, this is called our Victorian group down there, obviously. But in, let's see, when is it? It's in some particular time. You're going to tell me in a minute when I put it up. But I want you to tell us, before I put up the screen, about the Dalai Lama and him to His Holiness coming to Australia, and you playing a part in that with something that's happening at Uluru. So get your pencils and notepaper ready. Over to you, Judy.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, originally I was asked by the lady who brings the Dalai Lama to Australia if I could put a package together to take some of his people up to Uluru. So we've put a 6-day, 6-night package for $19.50. So that includes all of the accommodation, tickets to see His Holiness, a sunrise walk around Uluru, a trip out to Valley of the Winds at Cartajuta, a trip to Cave Hill Rock Art Site, a trip to the Aboriginal Cultural Centre. We'll have our own private transport and guide. We'll be staying in cabins with kitchens so that you can actually prepare your own food if you don't want to eat out at restaurants. There'll be Aboriginal art and craft and dance and Dreamtime stories and bush yarns and star talks of the night sky, free time to go on camel rides or Harley rides or helicopter flights, etc. And
I bet a lot of people are taking a note of that, and that's the first time that has been done. And I think, Judy, I'm correct in saying that is almost full already.
It is.
So anybody who wants to grab that, grab it quickly, yes?
Yep, I have 4 places left only because we only had limited numbers for 21 people maximum, and I've got 4 spots left for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It is once in a lifetime. Judy O at sctelco.net.au, right up there on your screen. Judy, that was fantastic. And we, by the way, are looking forward to seeing all of the videos and all those sorts of things that I'm not sure His Holiness allows you to do that, but we are looking forward to seeing that. What an experience that is going to be. And if you can, joining us on the call right now, can share that with Judy and her team. Judy, thank you very, very much. So glad that you took that opportunity to share on Partner Point of this morning. Now, so we've done, let's see, we've done the huge power of small. Now, did I miss anybody? No, I think I got everybody. So now moving at rapid pace, here she is in Singapore. Please, let's welcome, here we go, Masami. This is for you. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing my screen, and I think you probably might want to share yours. Let's see. There we go. So Masami, welcome. How are things in the B1G1 office this morning, and what have you got planned for us?
Okay, so let's just begin quickly. Actually, last week was a challenging week for me because suddenly out of blue, I lost my voice for 3 days. So I couldn't speak at all. And nothing actually came out. And interestingly, when that was happening, I remembered all the days when I was learning to speak English, but I couldn't speak any English at that time. So having no means to communicate, I learned to connect with things or think more. And the last 1 week was a bit like that because I just couldn't speak. So I had to kind of think more, feel more, appreciate things more. And so now I'm really glad that my voice came back finally this weekend, and I'm able to share some special update with you. So the first thing is, I think many of you already took action on this, and when this happened, the earthquake hit Nepal, it was in a way a very interesting time for us, because in the past, when many different kind of disaster happened over the years, if you are long-term B1G1 partners, you probably remember that in the past we didn't really say anything, you know, like let's give to this disaster or that disaster. It kind of frustrated us in the past that we were not really stepping into that space to say, you know, we should make it possible for B1G1 members and partners to give. And this time we took it differently. So here's what happened. We came up with the project, but before we came up with this project, we actually took quite a long time in the board group discussing, you know, which organization to channel this fund through, checking with all our existing Webicause partners to see if they are doing okay, you know, are they still continue to provide the support they are giving to the beneficiaries on the ground, and so on, so on, so on. So finally, we did this, and we are now looking at a quicker way to make this happen next time, if anything like this happens. And so thank you so much for the encouragement. And then, as a result of this, so far already, B1G1 Business for Good together raised more than US 13,000 worth of contributions. And normally we don't talk about monetary amount because it's about impact, right? But let's imagine that all this fund, 100% of it, we are forwarding to organizations on the ground to deliver much needed medical support, you know, water, food, housing, temporary shelter, and so on. This is a massive difference.
That's
and,
awesome, man. There's a way that people are actually sharing this around the world as well, Masami, isn't there? So can you show
let me show you this. So this is one example of company which has a wide network in Australia. Travel managers, I'm sure you've probably heard of it, this company. But because they are connected and they have the network, they put up this public project quickly on their profile, B1G1 Business for Good profile page, and asked everybody in the network to give. And now the support is flowing in, not just from this company, you know, the partnership office alone, but all of the partners in Australia are now giving to Nepal disaster support as well. So you could do this if you want. And taking this opportunity, I really wanted to thank you for the wonderful support that you have given as well.
And so everybody now joining us on the call can actually put that link on their site, right? And all they need to do is go to their B1G1 home page, and they'll see that lovely little email from you together with directions as to how you can do that. It might be good to do, even though, you know, the earthquake was more than a couple of weeks ago now, but there is still lots of need and so on and so forth. But the great news, as Masami was saying, is that we are now kind of prepared for these things. So by the board doing all of that work, Masami, thank you so much for leading that as well. So where else should we go now that you're on the call? So many people are saying, nice to see your lovely smile again too, by the way.
Thank you. So the next thing is about you and your giving stories. I'd like to just quickly show you what's coming up to enhance your giving stories. So this is one example of a screenshot, which is not live yet. We are currently in the middle of developing. But what's going to happen is that with the new B1G1 system, we will be making it much more interactive and also easy for you to create a range of stories which you can incorporate your product or service or whatever the action, the swearing and then doing some giving. You could create giving stories around that, and you can make it really visual as well. And
by the way, Phil has said, Masami, that his fine is going to the Nepal Fund. So there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, and then at the same time, we also focus on the activities coming from B1G1 community around the world, businesses and your team members. Instead of just listing your logo alone on the site, this would be focused on sharing the stories, sharing the activities that you have, and then you can connect with each other as well, with other business partners around the world. So these are just really, really quick snapshot of new system to be expected. But for now, we've done something new. And on the current B1G1 website, even though it's not the new system we are launching, we just added this thing called personalized tour. And this is, let's say you are introducing B1G1 to your business contacts, and you want that person to experience how it is like to be creating giving stories with their business, linking giving, different type of giving, and with so many different projects to their specific business, service, product, and so on, and experience it virtually. And without talking too much more about this, I would love you to just go to b1g1.com and find this tour. We will send you a link as well, and then see what happens with your business first, but also share with others.
And the link for that, if you want to take a note of it, is bit.ly/C as in SEE B1G1, and that gets you or your people that you're connected with to have a look at that. So Masami, we've got a couple more minutes to go, and I want to introduce this correctly. So if you could just stop sharing your screen just for 1 second, then that will allow me to share my screen, I think. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for staying with us. The Q&A today is just awesome, which is really, really good. So what I need to do very, very quickly to do this. And by the way, keep that Q&A going. And the panelists, of course, you have the opportunity to put it in the chat and all of those sorts of things as well. So let's do this. So if we had a drum roll, which actually we don't, but if we had a drum roll, so we've gone through Power of Small Partner update, PowerPoint Masami's update, and now, drum roll, the B1G1 surprise. And surprise, surprise, it's Masami who's going to take us through that.
Okay, so let me share my screen again. And so can you see the word joy of giving?
We put it loud and clear.
Okay, so we all know that it's about joy of giving. It's not just about giving, but joy of giving. But I'd like to add one more word to this, Joy of Giving Week. If you have been members and partners for a while, then you've probably seen our past activities around Joy of Giving Week. Let's just look back. In 2013, when it was our 6th anniversary, it was when we started to do this annual event. This was what we did for the first Joy of Giving Week. We pumped the balloon, one balloon for every giving activity, and then filled up our office with blue balloons and celebrated 6th
That was really cool. To barely get in the door. It was really, really cool. And
that's true.
The 7th one was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 7th anniversary, 2014, which was last year, was this, Shake the World. So many of you participated in making this happen as well, but we now have a mobile app which gives access to water every time you shake, and you can share that with anybody because it's free giving, free download. So
let me just
that was
very quickly. There it is. Just go to shaketheworld.me and you'll get the Shake the World app. And already, I think 2.5 wells have been created just as a result of that. Doesn't cost you a single solitary cent to do it. All you got to do is shake your phone. So,
and remember to drink water as well.
Remember that too, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is what happens this year? But let's just skip this year for now and then go to 2016. This was just pre-announced to a very small group of people and created really big excitement. So you would be the kind of this would be the second wave of excitement, I think. In 2016, we are planning to celebrate our 100 million giving impact. Hopefully we get there by then, but in Bali. And we'll be hosting a conference, Business for Good Connection Conference, so that you could actually come to this special place where B1G1 was actually born, and probably you didn't know that. And then you get to actually meet members and partners around the world in B1G1 Business for Good community. So please schedule. We haven't fixed the date yet, but please block your calendar for June 2016, so you could actually travel to Bali.
And it's going to be in the last week of June, by the way, just to give you some focus on that. But something, if I could add just quickly, Masami, into that, already one of the people on the call has said, hey, can I be a speaker at that? And we would love you to volunteer to take some time to share your story, whatever that story is. So if you want to do that, just drop me a line, paul@b1g1.com, and you will be featured at that 9th anniversary 2016 100 Million Impact conference. So let us know about that. Back to you, Masami.
By the way, you can also bring your team and family members as well.
Cool.
So.
Sounds very cool.
Okay, so that leaves us to the question, 8th anniversary 2015. So actually nobody knows about this yet. So you will be the very first one to hear about what's happening this year. This year we were thinking, what can we do that is really meaningful, impactful, and connecting for all of us. And we decided that this year, during Joy of Giving Week, which is scheduled for 22nd to 26th of June, this year. Here in Singapore, B1G1 team will go out every day to do something that is giving, caring, connecting, great learning experience, and so on. So let's say, as an example, we might go out to plant trees or pick up rubbish on the street or even visit some people who may need help and so on. So the team here is currently planning what we can do on each day during Joy of Giving Week. But what we would love you to do is to think about what you might be able to do with your team within your company.
Very good.
Yeah. Or also create local groups in different cities and then get together with other B1G1 partners and then go out and then do something meaningful. So this is quite different from our usual B1G1 giving, because B1G1 usual giving is more about giving online. But we wanted to kind of bring people together, bring all of us together to experience the physical on the ground giving activity, while we can also top up those giving with different kind of giving online as well. So we would love you to participate in this.
Everybody, because we need to be careful of time, Masami, just quickly. So, yes. So we, have you got a picture of that little thing that you were?
Oh no, I didn't put it in.
Oh. But anyway, if you would, I think there is a beautiful little thing that we're going to give you actually as a part of all of that. And I'm not sure whether Masami is trying to find it right now.
But can we keep it as a hidden surprise? We're going to keep it as a surprise.
Yeah. If you would, I think what we can do for now is this. If you would like to kind of lead that effort, if you like, in your state and get a whole lot of people together through, and obviously we'll be helping you with that so that we can do some meaningful things in the community, then we would love you to do that. So, Masami, what else do you have with that?
So that's it for this time. And because there was a lot of information that got shared during this call, we will be listing like email addresses of lovely partners who shared their message earlier, or also the links of these different initiatives later on. So you don't need to worry about missing some information.
Okay, very, very cool. Masami, as always, if you could just undo your screen there for just 1 second. There we go. Masami, as always, thank you. Well, no, you're not. You don't need to be sorry. We're okay. We've done everything. But now, from me, you know, we've gone a little bit over. Oh my goodness, I'm not over actually. So next time we'll learn from that. But I tell you what, this has just been an awesome thing to be a part of. Masami, you get the final thing. Just so many people have loved seeing you on here. We're glad you got your voice back. By the way, inside information: when she lost her voice, she actually got an app. And she was typing in what she would say, and then she could select different personas to actually be the person, sort of like Stephen Hawkins. And I'm not going to tell you the names of some of the personas she selected because she would instantly divorce me. So if I did that, but it was fun. Anyway, it's better even to have your voice back. So Masami, to you to say farewell.
Thank you everyone for being part of this first call, and we look forward to seeing you next month again.
Everybody, thank you. Brilliantly done. Everybody, yes, indeed. Oh, actually, it's before next month because there's so much demand for this that we're actually going to have to do it a little bit quicker than we thought. So everybody, thank you. Hope it's added to your morning and to your week. Make your day a great one and your week an extraordinary one. Looking forward to sharing all of this in B1G1 Business for Good. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.